over duties in the Bronx.
Okay, hey y'all. Hey, okay, I think I got it, y'all. I got it. Y'all, I was sitting up here talking and not even, child, I wasn't even being heard. I was talking and not being heard. But what's new? All right, y'all. So I like our background. Is there a way that I could put it on? I can't put it on cinema layout. Yeah, we're gonna get the kind that you could get it on. So as y'all can see in the title and in the background, we are going to be deep diving into the Tory Lanez and Megan G Stallion case. So I'm gonna need y'all to grab your popcorn and stuff because we are about to deep dive. And let me tell y'all this real quick, okay? For those of y'all who's watching or who watched this video, um, I'm gonna make some people mad on both sides. I'm not really biased in this situation. Okay, hey. I'm sorry, y'all. That was my fault. But what was I gonna say? I not biased in this situation, okay? I just been very observant and asking questions as I normally would any other case. Y'all, I don't know what it is. I'm so not enticed, but interested, intrigued by the law because I just feel like you should know how the law works and is an important part of our lives that people make it seem like, oh, only a lawyer stuff can know. No, I'm interested in all this stuff. So I am team, I don't want to say justice because I don't feel like the court really served that a lot, but team truth, you know? So what we're going to do is we're going to sit here and we're going to take a listen to a couple of videos. They are not that long, but this is going to take up a good 15 minutes just so y'all all who hasn't been following along can get a recap. The person that I am using in these videos for the recap is Lawyers for Workers. And I also been watching Milagro Grams. I've been watching a bunch of different people who seem either unbiased or biased to one side and biased to another side, just so I could come up with the best conclusion I can and give y'all the right info. Okay. So if y'all hear some bags rattling, that is my Chick-fil-A. Okay. Bitches is hungry. Bitches just got home. Bitches ain't got time to be sitting here for like an hour not eating. Okay. So let's get straight into Megan the Stallion. This is the first video. So I got this video of Lawyers for Hire, but it's on the Black Tea blog page if y'all want to see it. Oh shit. Hold on, y'all. It's a damn ad. Shit. I ain't got no ads. Shoot. They can monetize me, then I'll let an ad play. You know what I mean? The nerve of some people. Okay. All right, here we go, y'all.
Breaking the Tory Lanez trial, we had opening statements. Opening statements are still actually going. We had to pause midway through for lunch. Better than TV. If you watch the prosecution's opening statement, you would say guilty. If you then watch the defense's opening statement, you would say, what the hell is the prosecution thinking, charging him? Basically, the prosecution started with this story. They said that, hey, they're all at the party, and Tory is leaving the party with Meg. They're in the car. An argument breaks out, during which Meg says and insults his skills as a rap artist. This leads to a situation where she gets out of the car and he shoots at her feet and yells, "Dance, bitch." And then she ends up at a hospital and a doctor takes out 3 fragments of bullet wounds from her foot. Now, if you just, and the prosecution says that Kelsey, the other woman in the car, is going to testify that Tory shot Meg. And Kelsey has a text message where she texts somebody that, hey, Tory shot Meg. And then the rest of the prosecution's case is based on all these calls and texts where Tory's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so drunk. He never says that I shot him. He's like, oh, I'm just so sorry. I'm so drunk. So question what he's apologizing for. So that's the prosecution's case. Seems pretty easy. Then the defense comes up and man, it gets spicy. First, the defense goes, they're not telling you about half of what's going on. The most important thing they're not telling you about an eyewitness who saw 2 women fighting, Kelsey and Meg. And so let's talk about why them 2 are fighting. Let's talk about how she was in the front seat. The gun was caught in the front seat. Let's talk about how she might have gunpowder. She does have gunpowder. Let's talk about how this has nothing to do with the fight between Tory and Meg and everything to do with the fight between Meg and Kelsey, and then the defense starts dropping the bombs. He basically says this, that they're in the car. Yeah, they left, but do you know why they left? They left because Kylie and Tory were in the pool together. And Kelsey and Meg both felt some type of way about that, to the point that Meg felt really some type of way about that. And she was really trying to go, to the point that eventually, because of how Meg is acting, this is according to the defense, Kylie Jenner goes to Meg Thee Stallion and says, it's time for you to leave. They all leave. The defense's point is what happens in the car is this. Tory questions Kelsey, hey, Kelsey, why are you backing up Meg for me trying to, get it on with Kylie Jenner? Meg has been snaking men from you your whole life. I hooked up with you, Kelsey, and then Meg went behind your back and hooked up with me. And Kelsey, this is not the first time. You had been hooking up with Ben Simmons. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with Ben Simmons. You have been hooking up with the baby. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with the baby. And so the defense starts dropping all these grenades. The crowd is captivated. The jury's like, oh, what's going on? And there's every reason to believe that there could have been a fight here, not between Tory and Meg, but between Meg and Kelsey. And the shooting could have not been Tory. It could have been done by any one of the other people in that car. What does all of this mean? Well, I'll tell you a couple things. First, Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's husband, is going to testify, so this will continue to be.
That's his background, y'all. That's not my background.
The judge is terrific. I expect a very fair trial. The lawyers on the defense side are terrific. I don't know what the government lawyer was doing, giving an opening presentation that made it seem like the most open and shut case ever, when in fact there are huge questions, including an eyewitness who saw two women fighting, suggesting that you have to explain that theory to the jury, and you didn't. So I don't love the prosecution's opening in that regard. Stay tuned. We'll have the full coverage here. It's up and it's stuck in the Tory Lanez trial.
All right. So that is his first update. Child, y'all know what this is reminding me of? That's exactly why we got the background we got. Give them the old razzle dazzle. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to find the next one, but I'm gonna give y'all my full thoughts on this stuff after we go over each day. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do it more organized here. Let me do this, y'all. Give me a second. Let me just try to screen share. All right, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to get this stuff in order. As y'all can see, Barbie Noir is not here, and she normally works the controls, so I bet she's a little lost. I ain't even gonna lie. I don't even see the screen sharing option. Okay, y'all. So while I'm figuring this shit out, let's just go ahead and get into the first day. So as y'all heard, that was opening statements, right? The defense presented their case and stuff, and as y'all saw from his account, now they're not allowing cameras in the room, so all we could go about is people accounts. And it wasn't even just his account. I saw other people who was in the courtroom account, so I do believe them on this. They said that it could really went either way. Both arguments were compelling, and I believe them because I believe there's truth to both sides. So I feel like both of them are going to have compelling evidence. So that's all I have to say about that one. Let's get into day 2. This is when Megan gets on the stand. So let's see what happens during the day. This video is going to be about 7 minutes long, y'all. So bear with me. We got to get through this recap because I hate having commentary and opinions and discussions when I'm not giving y'all as much tea as possible. Bitch, give me one more ad. One more ad. I found screen share house. Okay. I'm going to be trying to change my background while it's playing.
So this didn't occur to me yesterday during my coverage of the Tory Lanez trial. We're getting ready to go in here to day 2. But before I go in, let me tell you this point that sort of crystallized for me when I was on the No Jumper show talking about this case last night. Here's the prosecutor's theory of the case. And remember, prosecutors are supposed to have discretion. They're out searching for the truth. Here's their theory of the case, what they intend to prove at trial. Meg Thee Stallion exits the vehicle. Tory Lanez comes out behind her, shoots 5 times while yelling, "Dance, bitch." Meg runs away from him, walks away from him, hopples away from him. She's now 20, 30 feet away from him inside a driveway of a residential home. She's not yelling, "Help, somebody call the police," nothing like that. They don't say that, but there's account of the story. Okay, so let's just go back to just their facts. So she's there at the end, at the driveway. Kelsey comes out behind her. Kelsey goes to console her. What does Tory do? Now he's walking towards her and Kelsey. What does Kelsey do? She sees it. Oh, this man just shot her 5 times. He's coming for more. So she tries to intercept him. What does Tory do? He beats on Kelsey, physically assaults her. Kelsey has never said this truth to the police. No charges were ever pressed against Tory for Kelsey. The prosecutors are supposed to find the truth. They're supposed to use their discretion to find the truth. To me, if that's the story that they're going with, welcome to America. They're ODing on him like prosecutors do. And they're not talking about so many of the other events in this story that are critical to finding the truth. That's not day 2 of the Tory Lanez trial is underway. It started with Meg Thee Stallion testifying. I'm going to take you through what she testified about in the morning. We're currently on lunch break. She's going to come back and complete her testimony this afternoon. It started with questions about Tory Lanez. She testified that she knew him only for a short time leading up to this incident. They were friends. She was asked, "Were you intimate?" She said yes. She was asked, "Were you exclusive?" She said quite happily no. Then they asked her about her relationship with Kelsey. She said that she's known Kelsey since freshman year of college. How do you know her? How would you describe the relationship? I found her answer very interesting. She said, I quote, "We did everything together." They asked her, "Hey, how do you feel about being here today?" She was struggling through the testimony. I was a little surprised at her answer. She said, "I don't feel good. I can't believe I have to come do this." Not really sounding like a victim to me. She's a strong Black woman. That's the image that the jury, I think, would have gotten of her. And I expected her to say something more like, "I'm here for justice. I'm here to tell my truth. That man shot me." They asked her about when they left the party and when Tory got there. So she explained that initially she had gotten there with a larger group of people. Then later she asked Tory to come. By the time Tory got there, it was a lot fewer people. And then towards the end of the night, they asked her who was left. And she said it was basically just me, Tory, and Kelsey. And then we got in the pool. Then she said that when they were in the pool, her wig started getting loose. It was coming off. She felt uncomfortable, so she wanted to leave. She told Kelsey. Her and Kelsey went to the driver and said, "Hey, we want to leave." And this brings up the first point of contention where, according to Meg, the driver said, "I won't leave without Tory." Now, obviously, Tory's team says Meg said she won't leave without Tory. And then the person actually the defense attorney asked, "Well, why didn't Tory want to leave?" And everybody was waiting for the answer to that question because that's the whole Kylie Jenner angle. Unfortunately, the defense objected. The judge said sustained. She didn't answer the question, why didn't Tory leave? The whole situation in the car. She testified that, "Hey, look, we all got in the car. I got out. An argument started to break out. Basically, Tory started the argument." I was shocked when she dropped and admitted that this argument started with Tory saying to Meg, "Hey, why are you snaking your friend like this?" And basically revealing that he had hooked up with both of them, that they had been cheated on by him. And this sort of led into the whole big fight. At one point, she gets out of the car, but then she did get back in because they convinced her to get back in. And then we get to the shooting. And here, there was some shocking stuff. So here's some of the key stuff. One, Meg described that, "Hey, look, I got out of the car. I looked back over me, and then I saw Tory holding a gun, pointing it at me, and he shot me after he said, 'Dance, bitch.'" But then this is the prosecution asking the questions. And even in the prosecution asking the questions, she said stuff that makes you scratch your head, which leads you to believe that what's going to happen under cross-examination. The prosecution asked her this: "Where was Kelsey when Tory was doing the shooting?" You know what Meg said? Meg said, "I didn't see Kelsey. I only saw Tory." Question: was she in your field of vision? Because she's right there. Where was she? If you can't answer that question, that doesn't seem like it adds up, especially not in a case where the theory from the other side is that there was a struggle and that Kelsey was the one who let off the gun. If the victim can't tell you where Kelsey is, that seems highly problematic to me. The other parts of the testimony that were a little bit confusing is they asked her, where was Tory? Was he standing on the car? Was he standing on the ground? And she said, well, he was shooting up over the window, but I don't know if he was standing on something. And they asked her, how tall is he? She said, I think he's like 5'3" or 5'4". He's taller than that, but that's not tall enough to shoot over the window of an Escalade while standing on the ground. And then they asked her, hey, was he on the passenger door, or was he on the front door or the back door? She said he's on the passenger side. And they were like, all right, well, was it the front door or the back door? She said, The other part of her testimony that I found a little confusing, it didn't mesh with what the prosecutor said in his opening. The prosecutor said in his opening that Kelsey went to where Meg was, and that after Kelsey went to where Meg was, after Meg had been shot, that Tory was approaching them. Meg's testimony today was different. Meg's testimony was not that she got shot, she went away, and then Kelsey went to where she was, and then Tory came at the two of them. No, Meg's testimony is she got shot, she went away, and then she saw Kelsey and Tory both coming to them. Again, does not add up. We finished with, why did you not tell the police the truth? And this was very interesting, whereas typically prosecutors are in the business of supporting police officers. Here, they elicited testimony where Meg said, look, I didn't tell the police the truth because this was around the time George Floyd had been shot, and I thought if I told them the truth, they were going to shoot Tory. I didn't feel safe with the police. And I thought this was kind of weird, but she said it. She said, I'm a member of the Black community, and in my community, we don't cooperate. What do I think? I think that the rest of the direct testimony is going to come out. It will be interesting. I think the defense attorney has a lot of room. Hey, what's up, bro? I think the defense attorney has a lot of room to poke holes in the story. And I think the rest of the witnesses are going to say things that the defense attorney is going to have to show that it doesn't all add up. That if Kelsey was right there, how is Meg Thee Stallion going and telling you that when I turned around and I saw Tory shot me, I have no idea where Kelsey was?
I got one question real quick before we start going over that. When was George Floyd shot? Was he mistaken or was Megan mistaken? It's not funny, but he was never shot. All right. So besides that, y'all, I'm stalling trying to eat. All right, quench my thirst. So with that segment of everything, before we talk about her cross-examination, because he got another video of the same day, which is when she got cross-examined. What I take from that, first of all, let me say this. Megan Thee Stallion was injured, correct? Megan Thee Stallion was hurt. I do not believe that she deserves to be Can y'all hear me? Did y'all hear me that whole time? Somebody let me know if y'all heard me. Did y'all hear me that whole time? Because I don't want to keep explaining something that y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to replay the video. So if y'all didn't hear me, here's how it is. He basically said that Megan was on the stand. She said that she saw Tory with the weapon before he said dance B and heard the gunshots. So it went from her seeing him do it to her seeing him with it, which is a safe assumption. I'm not somebody who grasps onto straws, because when you are remembering a traumatic event, it's very hard to remember every single detail every time. I have some things in my head that definitely happened to me, but if you're the type of person to block out things, you real life can't remember everything. I'm not trying to make an excuse for her. I'm just saying I get that aspect. So that part of her quote unquote misinformation doesn't really sway me either way, because it's like, okay, you say you saw him, but you really just now clarifying that you saw him seconds before. That is a big difference in the court of law, though. That's something I will say. And as we're going over this, my opinions is all based on law and fact and reasonable doubt. But y'all, this has been going on for years. If you believe Megan, I don't believe there's anything that's going to make you not believe her. If you believe Tory, I don't think there's anything that can make you not believe him, unless somebody had a door camera footage that got them all. I do not believe that y'all will I don't believe it'll sway anybody. So I wouldn't even be talking about this if it wasn't going on in court. We're talking about the court sessions. We are talking about what happened and what could happen based off of what is presented. So I just want to make sure y'all know that when we're getting into these conversations. So I already know people are coming in the comments, well, Megan and Tory, blah, blah, blah. Look, you believe who you believe. Congratulations. That's not what this discussion is about. So in the court of law, yes, that makes a bit difference. Not to me, but being a reliable witness in a case that mostly relies on the witnesses is extremely important. So when people are asking, why are we talking about this and why are we talking about that, as they said in the first video with her, hold on y'all, I started doing voice exercises and I just realized I'm talking with the wrong tone. Y'all, I've been trying to improve, and my voice have been getting strained. I've been having to drink tea every day, and I realized I was talking from like the wrong place. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic, y'all. But I had to correct myself mid-sentence. But anyway, so when it comes to the Megan and Tory case, if you have a slight misstep like that, I think they'll take that into account, but I don't think that'll sway a jury. Now, we're going to get into the second half of her testimony. Let me see if he has a video on that too. I believe he does. I'm sorry, the way that I have to set up the computer today, I have to go to all of these by myself, so they're not pulled up like they normally are. So let me just get into it. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna mute it just for a second. Okay, y'all, I got it together. So here's the rest of the testimony before we start getting into day 2.
Day 2 of the trial is in the books. Meg the Stallion has finished testifying. Let me catch you up on what happened in the afternoon session. It started with the prosecutor leading with this. She said, hey, Meg, I know we went a little fast this morning. I want to slow down. And Meg said, yeah, I was a little nervous. And then Meg actually said, these were her words. She said, I want to feel strong. I want to come off strong, and I didn't. And then she proceeded to testify, and she did come off a lot stronger and a lot more sure of herself in the afternoon session. There were powerful moments talking about, he shot me, talking about the pain and the trauma and the emotion this whole situation has caused her, talking about how she initially did not want to do this. She wanted to try to protect Tory. And so there were very powerful moments of the testimony. She explained that ultimately she did decide to go to the police and say that Tory was the shooter because of the false narratives that Tory had put out there. In her mind, she felt that she was a grown woman. She shouldn't have been hanging out with these people, getting involved in this mess. I'm not quite sure who these people that she was referring to when she was like, oh, I shouldn't be hanging out with them. She was hanging out with like Kylie Jenner, her assistant, Tory Lanez. I guess she just meant Tory. I thought that statement was very indicative about how Meg feels about this whole situation, which is basically that she did nothing wrong. She had nothing to do with this mess, and she just wants to be completely removed from the whole situation. She denied that Kylie Jenner told her to leave. She denied that the security guard, and Kelsey had at one point left and then came back because she said, I want to go back to get Tory. She said that it was the security guard who wouldn't leave without Tory, and that's why she was there. But at the same time, she also admitted that she didn't want to leave without Tory. So again, there was a lot of this. She just didn't want to say anything that made her image look bad, and I don't know why. She denied that there was any sort of relationship between Kelsey and Tory, which could have led to her being accused of going behind Kelsey's back.
You don't get the fuck off my phone.
In the car, she admits that in the car, Kelsey accused her of going behind her back. So I don't know how she's denying that there's no relationship between. The defense attorney asked her, hey, what did Kelsey mean when Kelsey said that this isn't the first time you've gone behind my back? And Meg said, oh, I don't know. Then we get to the shooting sequence, and I think the defense attorney did a really good job here focusing on the fact that, hey, did Meg the Stallion actually see who was shooting the gun? I don't think there's any doubt that 5 shots rang out. The question is who pulled the trigger, was somebody pointing at her, and who? The defense attorney established this, that Meg is in the front seat, front passenger, that Kelsey is directly behind Meg, and that Tory is in the rear passenger seat. He got Meg to testify this. Meg gets out of the car. She walks a couple steps to the front of the car by the absolute front. And then she goes a couple steps beyond that. All of this took a couple seconds. Within that time, apparently, Tory Lanez has made it from the rear passenger seat to now being on the passenger side. And from the passenger side, he pulls out a gun. She said he pulled the gun. From where, it's not clear, but he pulled the gun. He points it at her and shoots 5 times. Right before shooting, he yelled, dance bitch, leading her to turn around and then see him with the gun. He pulls it, points, shoots, 5 shots. Where's Kelsey in all this? She has no idea. What does she then do? She then crawls away. The part that the defense attorney focused on is how, in a matter of seconds, does he get from the rear passenger to having a gun in his hand to being on the passenger side in position to shoot over the window at you, all in a matter of seconds. To me, there had to be something else that happened in that sequence of events from the time she got out of the car and the time the shots rang out. And then she completely denied that there was any sort of altercation between her and Kelsey. As to whether there was an altercation between Kelsey and Tory, and there has to be some altercation. There's a fingernail on the ground and there's jewelry on the ground. And so and Kelsey has blood on her. Kelsey has her swimsuit strap ripped off. So how did that all happen? And apparently there was a bump. She says that I saw a bump.
That is a powerful
Tory
bump.
And Kelsey. And I guess the prosecutors will use that to establish why Kelsey has got her strap ripped and jewelry on the floor broken and a fingernail lying on the middle of the street. Bottom line, her testimony was strong. It was powerful. It was a victim telling you that a man shot her. All right, so from here, I think there's 2 important issues with this case. One, what are the other witnesses going to say? What's the driver going to say? What's Kelsey going to say? And what is the witness? There was a homeowner who lived there, who was in the house that is very close, very adjacent to where all of this is unfolding. He would have seen and heard a lot. He's going to testify. The other thing, the defense did a really good job of establishing that, hey, Meg's timeline here of in a few seconds, Tory gets out of the rear passenger, gets onto the passenger side of the vehicle, yells, dance bitch, pulls a gun, lets out 5 shots. There could have been a lot more that happened there in that sequence, because that's a lot of things happening in a very small amount of time. And it is not clear from Meg's testimony that a jury would go ahead and say, oh yeah, that man pulled a gun and he was shooting at. I could see the jury looking at that testimony, looking at that sequence of events, saying that doesn't add up and that means reasonable doubt. Or looking at it and saying, well, okay, maybe something happened here, but did this guy intentionally pull a gun and shoot at this woman? No, maybe there was another shooter, maybe another explanation of how those gunshots rang out.
Social media games by now. And I don't know what to tell y'all.
Okay, y'all. So that was the recap of the day that Megan had testified. Now, as I had said before, I do feel like that when it comes to this situation, it's a lose-lose because everybody believes who they believe. This is not for the public. This is for the sentencing. This is literally for the sentencing. I think both of their reputations have been affected. I think when it comes to, see, what a lot of people don't understand, it's like hip hop community and the mainstream, like commercial community, are 2 different communities. And from what I am seeing, the more commercial side believes Megan. You go over to like, you know, more main page blogs, main page news stations, TikTok, whatever, you're going to see huge support of Megan. That's why a lot of people feel like she prospered from this, because since that side really kind of backs her up, that's the side with all the endorsement deals and stuff like that. So as they had said, well, he didn't say this, but I had watched Milagro-Graham's recap of this as well. Hers was a little bit less professional. No, she was professional, but she was more raw. I love his recaps though. And I like the way he explained what he's explaining. He said her testimony was powerful. But there was holes that works in the defense favor. And you can't ignore that. No matter who you believe, you can't ignore that. This is not about, making the jury feel bad for her. This is about making the jury believe beyond a reasonable doubt that only him, not Kelsey, not the bodyguard, no one else could have pulled that trigger. Only him. There can be no coulda, shoulda, woulda, maybe. That's beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't know why people act like they don't know the definition of beyond a reasonable doubt. So, with that being said, I believe whoever has been coaching Megan has been putting her image in her music career above all else. It does not seem like her best interest has been put, or maybe it could be, because we're going to get into some things why I said it could still be in her best interest. But I think having her omit and lie about certain things and omit certain truths has come back to bite her so quickly in this trial. One, you said multiple times you saw him. As a public viewer, not a juror, I'd be like, okay, I get it. You saw him. You say you saw him like 2 seconds with the gun before it shot. So it makes sense that you thought he shot it. But the jury in the court, they're like, why would you say you saw it if you didn't see it? That's how you got to go about things in the courtroom. Another thing that we're going to get into, my beautiful ones, and I keep talking from the wrong place. It's going to take me some time to adjust my voice, but whatever. Another thing is she adamantly said she did not leave before she left with Tory. She did not leave before she left with Tory. She also said that she was not irritated or agitated from Tory's interactions with Kylie. She also says she was not that drunk. He didn't say that in this recap, but of course he recapped the whole day. So this information is coming from other places. I was going to pull up the DJ Academics and Milagro Graham live that they did on it. But I just felt like I didn't want to make people watch a source that they felt was biased. I personally don't feel like it's overly biased. I believe there's some bias, but I believe there's always receipts when they bring up why they believe what they believe. But I don't want to turn people off from something that seemed biased. This man, he just sticks to the facts. He just sticks to law. So we going to stick to just playing his recounts. Plus, the DJ Academics and Milagro streams be like over an hour, sometimes 5 hours long. To get timestamps, y'all, I wouldn't be able to talk to y'all about this till next week. Bitches got lives. It's my birthday week, okay? Bitches got shit to do. So I do encourage you to do your own research if you're that invested. That's the thing, too. We're talking about this because it's a podcast, and it's a trending topic, and it's important. It is important to talk about. But I do have a question for people who keep up with the case, and this is a real question. It's not a rhetorical question. Why do y'all keep up with the case? Do y'all keep up with the case just to see who's winning? Do you keep up with the case because you feel like if you find out new information, your mind may change? Or you're just keeping up with the case because you like, shit, I'm working. I need something to play in my AirPods. Like, let me know. So anyway, yeah, that's what I had to say about Megan's first day. I do believe that it came back to bite her because, y'all, we're going to get into this second day. And then I'm going to give y'all my overall thoughts. I just don't want to be everywhere. So in between each day or each video that he uploaded, we're going to pause, discuss, and then we're going to give our final thoughts. Okay? All right. So give me just uno momento. We don't talk. Y'all, this is giving so much Chicago. And if I can tell y'all my little theory that all of a sudden everybody have, but I literally have since not since the beginning. I ain't gonna lie. If y'all go to Spotify and see when we first, because we reported on this, we was a brand new podcast when we reported on this. When we used to be just on Spotify, I was riding for Megan, and I still feel bad for her. I still feel bad for her, but I had to take away from me liking her as a musician and her image and just kind of looking at the facts of the case, because I still feel bad that I just personally don't feel like she's going to see justice for her injury. And I maintain that she was injured, you know, by a bullet, hence the bullet fragments and glass. She was injured by both. They said they removed both glass and bullet fragments from her feet or foot. So I do feel bad that she's not going to see justice. But we also have to face the fact, what was the reason for the lies? Do y'all really think that the lies were just to protect the image? And that's a true question. I'm not planting any seeds. I'm just telling y'all what comes to mind when I think of this stuff. They will really risk her case, her getting justice, her livelihood, for possibly getting charged for her image. Because a lot of the lies that she got caught in at first was for her image, but I found some that kind of snuck through the cracks. And it wasn't until I saw Kelsey and Tory's lies that I was like, nah, this actually seems more like the situation. And for anybody who's just now tuning in or tuned in, I'm going to say this one more time. This is not a biased channel. We are not going to be dragging Megan. We are not going to be dragging Tory. We are going to be going over the facts. So if that's something that you don't want to hear, I am so sorry, but you came to the wrong place, because we're not going to be biased. We're going to have an honest conversation about court proceedings, not about what you believe, not about what I believe. Well, actually, we are going to talk about what I believe in a minute, but we're going to finish going over these videos, and then we're going to get into the synopsis, okay? So we are going to go into day 3 of the trial. As I said before, this is a lawyer and the bitch, shut the fuck up. Playing ads. Do I get paid for that ad? But I am getting this news from someone who has been in the courtroom and who is also a lawyer for workers. So you guys go follow him.
Oh my God. When we walked out of that courtroom just now, every single person was shocked.
And he's the most unbiased person I found.
A lot of people were looking at me.
If y'all asking why I chose him, because almost everybody I was watching had enough bias towards Tory or enough bias towards Meg that I just felt like it would turn people off from really thinking freely. So here we go.
Like, bro, tell me what is going on. Kelsey took the stand. Before she even started talking, there were fireworks. This started with Kelsey coming in and saying she is invoking her Fifth Amendment right to remain silent and not testify. When someone invokes the Fifth Amendment, they have to be invoking it, because if they were to testify, they would be giving testimony that incriminates themselves. She said, I will not testify because I would be giving testimony that I'm incriminating myself. That's what it means when she invoked the Fifth Amendment. Now, the government offered her immunity. They said that we will not prosecute you and use this testimony against you, so please testify. Her lawyer came back and said, well, that's not good enough. I don't want you to just not use her testimony against her. I want you to confirm to me that you will not prosecute her for any crimes arising out of this instance, out of this situation. The prosecutors said, yes, on the record, we will not be charging Kelsey for anything that came out of this incident. And then she testified. I'm going to go over the whole testimony in the next video, but here's the piece that we just left off.
I'm sorry, he skipped over one thing that I saw in somebody else's stuff. So they verbally said that, but Kelsey lawyer asked for a physical, like, I need a guarantee that, you know, this won't come down to nothing else. They was like, well, we can't do that right now, but us doing it in the courtroom should be just as good because it's before a judge. I mean, these people are all hearing us. You know what I mean? So yeah.
At lunch, the courtroom is just, I can't even explain the tension. They asked her, at one point, did Tory ever say that I'll shoot you? And she said, I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment right, which suggests, they asked her, what's the context? When did he say I'm going to shoot you? She said, I invoked the Fifth, which suggests that the context was Kelsey was doing something. Perhaps Meg was also doing something that would incriminate her. That's the context. That's what I get from it. That's my opinion. That's my read of it. For those of you who have been telling me that I'm biased and that there's only one angle to this story and that a man pulled a gun and shot 5 times at another woman and that the prosecutors haven't charged him with attempted murder, but I'm biased If you believe the story that a man pulled a gun and shot 5 times at another woman, he hasn't been charged with attempted murder, and now you have another woman in the car saying, I plead the fifth. All right, you heard the bombshell from this.
And I don't know if y'all caught that, but what he said, a lot of people don't know. You can't just plead the fifth because you don't want to answer. You can only plead the fifth if your answer would self-incriminate you. So you're not forced to lie on the stand, and so you're also not forced to incriminate yourself, not only of that crime, but any other crimes that could have been going on at that moment. That's when you can plead the fifth. So that's why that is an important piece of information. When Kelsey pled the fifth, a lot of people were saying like, oh, she must have been paid off for stuff like that. Like, no, she pled it for herself. Something that she could have said, could have incriminated herself. I'm not saying from the incident Tory being charged to, but whatever was going on in that moment when she responded to Tory's threat, she could have incriminated herself. So she could have said, bitch, I'll shoot the fuck out of you. Give me that gun. You know, I'm not saying that's what happened, but it makes sense why she don't want to self-incriminate. Because if it's like, well, if that was your reaction and you going for the gun, did Tory still have the gun when it was going off on Megan? And then it also pokes holes. If y'all was sitting up here arguing, how come Meg didn't see you next to it's like that is the reasonable doubt people are talking about. People aren't talking about, oh, I don't believe Megan anymore at all. There's a lot of room to put reasonable doubt in people's head. That's it. That's all.
Let me catch you up on the rest of Kelsey's testimony. They asked her, how are you feeling? She said, I don't want to be here. They asked her, what's triggering you? She said, quote, lies from Megan. She was asked, what lies? That I betrayed her, that I am a bad friend, that I took hush money. She was asked, how do you feel about the allegation that you shot Megan? She said, that's ridiculous. She was asked, how did you meet Tory Lanez? Me and Meg both met him at the same time at a Rock Nation brunch. She continued that after they met, Meg wanted to hook Tory up with Kelsey, that did happen, that Kelsey and Tory were engaged in an intimate relationship, that Kelsey got COVID, went back to Texas, and during the time she was back in Texas, having left LA, Tory and Meg started getting it on. They talked about the night of the incident. They got to Kylie Jenner's house around 3 to 4 p.m. She was a great witness, by the way. She answered everything extremely knowledgeably, extremely truthfully. I believe every word she said. She never seemed like she was trying to hide something, except when she pled the fifth, of course. Now, she's clarified this was not a party. Those were just people hanging out. There was maybe 5 or 6 people before Tory got there. There was a lot of alcohol. She said at one point she did pass out when she woke up. Tory was there. They were all in the pool. They were having fun. She confirmed a lot of the speculation. Tory was hooking up or trying to hook up, flirting with Kylie in the pool. Meg was very agitated, trying to leave with Tory. Tory did not want to leave. She contradicted Meg's testimony. Meg said, oh, I don't remember ever leaving once and then coming back. Kelsey testified they all got in the car. They left without Tory. As they were going, Meg is rambling, being just weird, and then says, oh, I forgot my slipper. Let's go back. They all go back to get her slipper. Then they grab Tory.
Cinderella?
Kelsey didn't go in at that point when they went back. But when they came out, Meg came out with Tory, and Meg said to Kelsey, bitch, Kylie told us it's time for us to go. Tory drops the bombshell that he had been hooking up with Meg. Kelsey did not know this. The first time she learned this is in that car. That's when the argument ensues. That's when just lots of arguing is going back and forth. The prosecutor really tried to pin it down and make it look like the argument was only between Tory and Meg. And Kelsey was adamant that, everybody was arguing with each other. It was a mess. She confirmed that Meg was dissing Tory's career, his skills as an artist. This stuff all crescendoed. The prosecutors asked her about, was there ever a threat made by Tory to shoot? She said yes. Prosecutor asked her, what's the context? She said, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right. You can only invoke your fifth if the testimony that you are compelled to give will incriminate you, meaning that the context around the threat, if Meg will not tell us, if Kelsey tells us, it would incriminate her.
Lots to unpack with Kelsey's statement, y'all. Let me get my notes because I also got notes from some different accounts. So basically, let's go back a little more, y'all. So basically, when Kelsey had testified, and there's another video about her testifying, but we're going to do them separately like we did Meg. We're going to treat everybody the same. So first, when Kelsey invoked her Fifth Amendment right, as y'all saw there, it wasn't to not answer. I saw a narrative around saying that, oh, she was not trying to answer if Tory threatened to harm her. Actually, she was hesitant to answer that, but she did answer it. She said yes. But when it was time to put it in context, that's when she refused. And that was the part that made my eyebrows raised. And it's very telling to see them refuse and invoke their Fifth Amendment right, because I see people saying, oh, Megan and Kelsey, or Kelsey, let me just say Kelsey, because to my knowledge, Meg never invoked the Fifth Amendment right. When Meg was dodging questions from the prosecution, to my knowledge, from people in the courtroom, she was saying, I don't remember. Because if it doesn't self-incriminate her exactly, maybe, well, it kind of is incriminating if you lying on stat, but if it just contradict what you said and you don't want to keep like contradicting yourself, you could say like, I don't recall, I don't remember. You know what I mean? So I just feel like that was her way. And then Kelsey's way was saying, I plead fifth, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right. So it felt like when Kelsey came on and when she had said that, yes, we were partying at Megan's house. I mean, at Kylie's house. Yes, it was a lot of liquor. Everyone was drinking a lot. I even passed out, which made me feel like unless Kelsey was drinking alone, if she drank to the point of passing out, surely some people took enough shots with her to be just as lit or close to being as lit. But she said when she woke up, Tory was there and all the rest of stuff. So she contradicted Meg's statement the day after that, yes, there was tension about Tory paying attention to Kylie. And yes, we left and came back for a slipper. That's the key. Those are things that create reasonable doubt, because it's like, why would you say that y'all never left and you only insisted on getting Tory because his bodyguard said he wouldn't leave without y'all? EJ was there. EJ had a car. Y'all arrived without Tory. Y'all had plenty of means of transportation out of it. But even if you're like, we just had plans, we were supposed to hang out, or I don't want to leave anybody that I invited to there at her house, why not just say that? Because she was going back and forth between saying, oh, I didn't want to leave. I didn't care if Tory came, but I did want Tory to leave. And some people who ask, what does that have to do with anything? It has to do with her being a credible witness. If you can't give a good account of what led up to the events, and everyone was impaired, everyone was drunk, how do we know that you gave a good account of what happened? Everybody says that it's because Kelsey said that she didn't do anything to Tory. I mean, that she didn't do it. But as we'll see, even Kelsey has been lying on the stand. So we're going to get to the stuff that Kelsey, well, I'll say this. Kelsey has not lied on the stand, but she's lied in her statements. She even openly admits that she lied. So two of the credible witnesses to say it was this one and not this one have been caught lying. You see how that could be a problem in a courtroom, or no? Okay. So we are going to get into the second one. I got to mute myself real quick, and I'm going to get into the second part of Kelsey's testimony. it.
You heard the bombshell from this morning. Let me catch you up on the rest of Kelsey's testimony. They asked her, how are you feeling? She said, I don't want to be here. They asked her, what's triggering you? She said, quote, lies from Megan. She was asked, what lies? That I betrayed her, that I am a bad friend, that I took hush money. She was asked, how do you feel about the allegation that you shot Megan? She said, that's ridiculous. She was asked, how did you meet Tory Lanez? Me and Meg both met him at the same time at a Rock Nation brunch. She continued that after they met, Meg wanted to hook Tory up with Kelsey, that did happen, that Kelsey and Tory were engaged in an intimate relationship, that Kelsey got COVID, went back to Texas, and during the time she was back in Texas, having left LA, Tory and Meg started getting it on. They talked about the night of the incident. They got to Kylie Jenner's house around 3 to 4 p.m. She was a great witness, by the way. She answered everything extremely knowledgeably, extremely truthfully. I believe every word she said. She never seemed like she was trying to hide something, except when she pled the fifth, of course. Now, she's clarified this was not a party. Those were just people hanging out. There was maybe 5 or 6 people before Tory got there. There was a lot of alcohol. She said at one point she did pass out when she woke up. Tory was there. They were all in the pool. They were having fun. She confirmed a lot of the speculation. Tory was hooking up or trying to hook up, flirting with Kylie in the pool. Meg was very agitated, trying to leave with Tory. Tory did not want to leave. She contradicted Meg's testimony. Meg said, I don't remember ever leaving once and then coming back. Kelsey testified they all got in the car. They left out Tory as they were going. Meg is rambling, being just weird, and then says, I forgot my slipper. Let's go back. They all go back to get her slipper. Then they grab Tory. Kelsey didn't go in at that point when they went back. But when they came out, Meg came out with Tory, and Meg said to Kelsey, bitch, Kylie told us it's time for us to go. Tory drops the bombshell that he had been hooking up with Meg. Kelsey did not know this. The first time she learned this is in that car. That's when the argument ensues. That's when just lots of arguing is going back and forth. The prosecutor really tried to pin it down and make it look like the argument was only between Tory and Meg. And Kelsey was adamant that, everybody was arguing with each other. It was a mess. She confirmed that Meg was dissing Tory's career, his skills as an artist. This stuff all crescendoed. The prosecutors asked her about, was there ever a threat made by Tory to shoot? She said yes. Prosecutor asked her, what's the context? She said, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right. You can only invoke your fifth if the testimony that you are compelled to give will incriminate you, meaning that the context around the threat, if Meg will not tell us, if Kelsey tells us, it would incriminate her. And it gets crazier. We are on a 15-minute break. Got to get back into the courtroom very quickly. I sat at 12 o'clock directly in Kelsey's line of vision. I watched her testify. I watched her deny that Tory threatened to shoot her. I watched her confess that she lied to the police when she said that. The reason why she was lying to the police, the investigators, is because she wanted to protect herself. OMG. The rest of the testimony that we just saw in the after lunch session was a prosecutor holding on for dear life to a recording between her, a police investigator, and another LA County prosecutor, and Kelsey, and just replaying that recording and saying, Kelsey, didn't you say this? And Kelsey saying, I did. Kelsey, is that true? And Kelsey saying, no, I lied. Did the LA County prosecutors give Kelsey immunity? I think so. They did, didn't they? That's what I reported this morning. That's what I saw in this courtroom. Does Kelsey sound like a believable witness? No. Is Tory Lanez accusing her of being the shooter? Yes. I'll tell you something. That jury, most of them, it looked like they had their mind made up. I don't know which way, but they saw that person say that I lied about all that to protect myself. They're going to hear that there was gunshot residue on her. We are done. Kelsey is not done. She will be back tomorrow for another day of testimony. In fact, the opening direct examination by the prosecution of Kelsey started in the morning. It's still not finished. It's going to continue to tomorrow, and then we'll get cross-examination. Let me catch you up on what happened. Kelsey testified that everything that she had told prosecutors and investigators before, suggesting that Tory had shot at Meg, was a lie. That she did it, why? To protect herself. Why was she protecting herself? She didn't want to incriminate herself. And then there was this back and forth exchange that just kept going on. They were saying the same thing to each other. I don't know why the judge allowed it. The prosecutor's like, why? She's like, to protect myself. Why? To protect yourself from what? And she just kept saying, to protect myself. Finally, they moved on. The prosecutor's story basically comes down to this. They're introducing evidence that Kelsey seems to deny, but then doesn't seem to deny, as far as Tory making offers to say, hey, I'll give you this money when they're in the car and the police are coming up behind them and there's a helicopter overhead. Tory's like, yo, I'll give you $1 million. Don't say anything. And she's like, I didn't take that. I didn't know what he was talking about. And then there's another meeting that happens later on between Tory and her. And she says, I didn't take any money. But she, at the same time, doesn't deny that offers were made. The other part that prosecutors are using and hanging their hat on are messages.
Bitch, I don't want to see an ad. I want to see the rest. Okay.
Shooting where Kelsey is communicating with other people, including a key text message where Kelsey says, Tory shot Meg. That was sent to Meg's security guard. For the cross-examination, what I'm looking and expecting for the defense to do is basically pin Kelsey as the shooter. They're going to start with the gunshot residue. They're going to say she's got gunshot residue on her. And then they're going to start pointing out to all, and there are so many, I don't even think you can cover them all, of the inconsistencies in the stories between Meg and Kelsey. One of the biggest inconsistencies that I can't make any sense of is Meg says that she was out of the car alone. Kelsey says, no, we were both out of the car. She said that today in court. We were both out of the car when the shots happened. Kelsey vehemently denied that she saw any type of shooting. And she kind of kept saying that there were just gunshots that went off. She did not admit how. I think a juror is going to go one of two ways. A juror is going to look at this and say she's been paid off. She's lying for Tory. Tory is a criminal mastermind, guilty. I think a juror might look at it and say she's trying to protect herself from incriminating herself about being involved in this shooting. And so she's lying, and maybe she's the shooter, and that's enough for me to say reasonable doubt. The prosecution hasn't met their burden. We shall see. This case is not ending anytime soon. Stay tuned. There's a crazy day. Day starts. Kelsey says, I'm not going to testify. When Kelsey says, I'm not going to testify, the responds by saying, I will give you
I think he just recapping what he already went
if you
over.
agree to testify, I will not use any of your testimony against you. Now, the reason why Kelsey can say that I won't testify is she has the right to invoke the Fifth Amendment. You can only invoke the Fifth Amendment. You can't just say, I invoke the Fifth because I don't want to talk to police. No. You can only invoke the Fifth if you are being compelled to testify. In this case, she's being forced to testify, and the testimony that she's going to give is self-incriminating. So, the second she walks into court and says that I invoke the Fifth, I can't testify, that tells you that she did something that night that would incriminate herself. Separately, she invoked the Fifth specifically in reference to the question, what was the context of the comment Tory made that I'll shoot? Now, it seemed that she denied that that comment was also made, but more importantly, it seemed that she was saying that I invoked the Fifth. I can't tell you what happened around the timing of that because I would incriminate myself. That is a big win for the defense, but this is not just a mollywop victory for the defense. There's a lot going on here. So, okay, they invoke the Fifth. She gets the immunity. She's now testifying, and she runs back all of these statements that she's made to prosecutors, and she says, oh, hey, you said Tory popped out, had the gun up, and was shooting at y'all? No, that was a lie. Oh, you said Tory reached into the gun to get the console? No, that was a lie. So she admits that all that stuff is a lie. Okay, then we get to the prosecutor stuff. And these are major feathers in the cap of the prosecutor. And that is two pieces of evidence. One, the concept that there was money being offered. Now, what was it being offered for? There's a lot of room to play there. First off, the biggest thing here is that Kelsey denies that she took any money. She said, I didn't take any money. I'm not testifying here because I've been paid to testify. I'm not being silenced. I've been paid to testify. That goes a long way. She does, however, acknowledge that offers may have been made. So the prosecutor's whole point is that she's doing all this shit because she's getting paid. Kelsey's whole point is that I deny. So question back to Kelsey, why are you not talking? What's going on here? What is it that you're afraid of saying? We don't get that answer. She just keeps saying, to protect myself. So there's the money angle, which goes against Kelsey, and then there's the text message. The text message is from Kelsey to a security guard. It says, Tory shot Meg. How do you explain that message? Well, if your theory is that Kelsey is a big ass liar, Kelsey was involved in this shooting, and from the jump is just saying whatever she can possibly say, whenever she can say it, to avoid putting the burden on her, and couple that with the fact that Meg has never spoken to Kelsey. They're not talking. They had a complete falling out. The prosecutor asked Kelsey, hey, why aren't you and Meg talking? And Kelsey said, I don't know. Look, act.
This bitch said,
There's
I don't know.
so much going on. There is just
sorry, y'all.
much.
This is the one with academics. I said I wasn't going to play that one.
Well,
it's him talking.
You know, my big takeaway is this is not a case about Meg versus Tory. This is not a case about who's right, who's wrong. It's not a case about who's lying, who's telling the truth. This is a case about reasonable doubt. Prosecutors believe that a man got out of a car, pulled a gun, and shot 5 times at a woman. I would ask those prosecutors, do you really believe that? And if you do, why haven't you charged attempted murder? What they probably know is that there's more to this story. It doesn't fit a clean narrative to dunk on Tory, so they're not telling us more of this story. And now they've given Kelsey immunity. They told her, this is interesting. We're going to need, to keep this open, and we'll see how this plays out in the future. But let me tell you how the immunity played out, because this is very interesting. So she comes into court. She says, I'm not going to testify. Okay.
He said this
now,
like 5 times.
They say, well, we'll give you used immunity. Anything you say won't be used against you. And then her lawyer comes back and says, that's not good enough. I want something called transactional immunity, that you cannot charge me for anything that came out of this circumstance, that night, that incident. You are giving me immunity that you will never charge me for anything that happened that night. They said, we can't do that. But they went.
Boom. That's what I was talking about. While everybody was saying, oh, she got immunity, so she lied for a tort. No, it's because they couldn't promise that they would never charge her from that night. Being immune from them using your testimony to charge you and being immune from being charged, period, are 2 totally different types of immunity.
On the record and told the judge on the record that we will not charge Kelsey with any crimes, that we have no intention, we will not charge Kelsey with any crimes of what happened that night. What does all that mean? As a practical matter, there's no way you'll ever have the evidence to charge Kelsey. And she's been given both use immunity, so her words can't be used against her, and she's been given a statement on the record from prosecutors that she will not be charged for anything that came out of this incident. That's crazy that they would do that. If there's a possibility that this person is lying all over the place, if you didn't investigate her for DNA, if you didn't investigate her for fingerprints, you didn't arrest her that night, you didn't interrogate her that night, and then you gave her immunity later on, that's crazy to me. And so all that, when you tell all of that to a jury, and now you tell them that, okay, well, we want you to lock this man up for 22 years. So they're not going to tell him the time that he's facing, but we want you to hit him with, felony assault with a semi-automatic firearm because he had intent to harm this woman when he pulled a gun and shot at her. Man, I got to think that 1 out of 12 jurors, or it might be 14, is going to say, that doesn't add up to me. I'm not ready to convict somebody in a case like this. It's too messy.
So y'all heard that. So it's quite plausible for her lawyer to be like, if we don't get that immunity in writing, do what I said. These people go over what to do. And if what he said was plead the fifth, that's what the girl did to not self-incriminate herself. We almost done with these videos, y'all. Just give me 1 more second. We got 2 more. One is 8 minutes. One is 1 minute and 30 minutes. And then we'll be all caught up. And then I'm going to go to Twitter to see any live updates while we discussing, the rest of the case. I might have to mute it for a second.
All right, subscriber only post. I'm going to do two. Here's the first one. So the first one, let me catch you up on what happened in court.
And this one, he's talking kind of low, and he getting his lunch, y'all. So it's going to be a lot of noise.
Issues where he feels like he's being treated unfairly by the prosecutors. First, as a just housekeeping, let me also tell you this. The defense called back one of the police officers. He said, hey, this police officer is one of the prosecution's witnesses. I want on the record that he needs to be back here on Monday. I don't know why he wants to cut back, but it's interesting because it tells you that the defense is definitely going to put on a case. A lot of times, sometimes the prosecution.
So if y'all can't hear him, he's saying that they told the cop that he has to come back on Monday.
They'll probably have tons of witnesses. We're hearing Kylie Jenner, Corey Gamble, Tory might even go ahead and take the stand and testify. Then the defense was getting into this issue that they keep turning over discovery. All the discovery and the witnesses, anything that you plan on introducing in the trial, has to be done 30 days in advance. That was not done here. And so the defense's point is this is unfair. You can't spring this stuff on me.
So if y'all can't hear him, he said that the defense problem, another problem is they're turning in evidence late. It's supposed to be turned in 30 minutes before the trial, and it wasn't.
That's my Indian food. You also get to see that as part of the subscription option. And, you know, the judge basically said, look, I'm going to allow them to use this stuff. It's like an Instagram post. This detective who, like, downloaded it from Instagram is going to testify and introduce the post. The judge is like, look, it was late, but I'm going to allow them to use it. I'll give you extra time if you need extra time to prepare. But a trial is a search for the truth, and I'm not going to deny them. Obviously, the judge is very pissed that Kelsey just kind of being all over the place, lying, complicating the hell out of the trial. So he's going to let people ask her many questions for as long as he wants. Morning session. We had the doctor testify. The idea that these are not bullet fragments in her foot, that's done. Forget about it. Those are bullet fragments. Every single person on that jury, if you ask me, believes that it was bullet fragments. How did they get there? That's the question. Kelsey took the stand. He was asked by the prosecutors, I don't know what the prosecutors were doing. If you ask me, it was a fumble this morning because they dealt with the witness who was hostile, not answering their questions, saying that she lied to them about all these statements where she incriminated Tory. And then that fumble was picked up on cross-examination. The defense attorney looks like he's on his way to the house. The defense attorney starts with the immunity piece. Okay, you've got immunity. You're only testifying once you got the immunity. Understood. Then the defense attorney goes into this idea that she's been paid off, and he does a great job of establishing the fact that she never made any statements to prosecutors in all of 2020, all of 2021. This happened in 2020. She only made a statement to prosecutors in September 2022, and the prosecutors are using all this evidence of alleged bribes. That stuff was years ago. So why would she have taken money years ago and then September 2022 not done what she's supposed to do when you take the money, which is lie for Tory? And to be sure, that's like the first 3 minutes of cross, because then we go into gunshot residue. You knew before you sat down with the police officers and gave your testimony that you had gunshot residue on you. Isn't that correct? She said, yes. Defense attorney came back and he used the prosecution's own questions against them. The prosecution had asked, hey, why'd you lie to us? Kelsey said, pressure. Defense attorney, what was the pressure from? Was it from Tory? Nope. Was it from anyone on Tory's team? Nope. Was it from the defense team? Nope. Was it from the prosecution? Yes. That type of sequence of questioning sits in a person's mind and goes, gee, I'm in a courtroom of law. It certainly seems like one side is winning. A lot more happened this morning. I'm talking about just a lot. The prosecution was straight up planting the seeds because I think there's a juror there that they don't like and they're trying to get rid of him. There was an issue about the prosecution springing defense evidence. They're just like, oh, hey, we got this text message. I just found it in my back pocket. I'm going to use it. And the defense attorney was going nuts. Gloves are off at this point. There's a lot of cordiality. There's a lot of decorum. People follow the rules. Nobody acts out. But the attorneys on both sides, now when it comes to like, hey, can we get by with this? Like, no. I'm not okay with that. And, you know, they're saying stuff kind of out of order, out of turn. People are starting to feel that trial pressure. That's how it goes. Nothing is decided. Everything is an open game. You got to be on your P's and Q's when you're taking it to trial.
Oh, Lord Jesus, y'all. We got one more, and it's only 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Today, Rafi is taking
Nope, not today, bitch. Not today.
Charlotte has more room.
Kelsey is done testifying. We're on a 15-minute break. This has to be quick. The key moment of her testimony, I think, has to come down to when the defense attorney elicited testimony from her suggesting that there was a physical altercation between her and Meg. Kelsey seemed very hesitant answering these questions, like she didn't want to say. However, she then said, hey, we both got out of the car. You will remember Meg testified that Meg got out of the car. She does not know where Kelsey was. Kelsey was on the passenger side, and that she turned around and she saw Tory shooting at her. Kelsey testified that this part she remembers. She and Meg both got out of the car, and that there was a physical altercation. Kelsey described it as a bump. The defense attorney was like, really? You guys are super drunk. You just got into a yelling match with her over the fact that she was hooking up with Tory without you knowing. You also mentioned to her that this wasn't the first time she betrayed you like that. She had done it with one other guy. Interestingly, the defense had said it was Ben Simmons and DaBaby. Kelsey said, I only named one name. She didn't confirm if it was Ben Simmons or DaBaby. And the defense attorney's like, so after all that, you guys both get out of the car, and all that happened between the two of you was a bump? I'll tell you, I don't think anybody in the room believes that the only thing that happened between Meg and Kelsey that night as far as a physical altercation is a bump, especially not when the rest of the testimony confirmed that other than discussing how she's going to be moving out of the Airbnb that she was staying at with Meg and she's going to be going somewhere else, other than a brief communication about her living arrangement, the two of them have not spoken. They have not called each other on the phone. They have not met in person. They do not talk.
All right, y'all. That's it. That's all we got so far. So I'm gonna be scrolling through Twitter for live updates. But so far with this case, as y'all may or may not have heard, there has been lying on all sides, which what makes me question someone who's not like on either side. Like I said, I ain't gonna deny at the beginning I was, and I still am. Listen, my thing is when it comes to this case, the people who defend Tory are saying like he shouldn't be persecuted, all that stuff. And I agree 100%. We live in a place where it's innocent until proven guilty. And I think that's super important. Otherwise, anybody could just lay accusations on you and then you got to prove your innocence. No, it's their job to prove your guilt. But they be doing the same thing that they said they hate people doing to Tory, to Megan, and she was the only one injured. That has always been my problem, is that whether or not you don't believe her, we don't have a right to publicly put any of these people on trial. You know, you can believe who you believe, and if you believe that he did it and you support her, support her. But I just don't believe in like attacking people on stuff they have not been proven to do. People like, well, it was only 4 people in the car and Kelsey and Megan said it wasn't her. Yeah, but Megan and Kelsey has been caught lying about the whole night and they were all drunk. It is very possible that Megan could have thought that it was Tory and have no idea who actually did it. And it's very possible, I'm not saying this is what happened, that it could have been Kelsey. And why would she say, nah, it wasn't Tory, it was me? Like, I want to hear if someone has, I couldn't believe Kelsey got up there and lied. Agree. Yes. It's just Allie. Hey, girl. So yeah, it's just that to me. It's like, if y'all gonna choose to not believe Megan because she's been caught in lies, you got to choose that across the board. Tory has been caught in lies. Kelsey has been caught in lies. Like I said, this shit is just like Chicago. This all seems like a whole circus. Another thing that he didn't go over that I want to go over before I give my theory is that when Megan admitted to finally having an intimate relationship with Tory, which I don't agree with people calling her a thought over it or whatever, but when she admitted that, she said that Kelsey had a crush, that she didn't backdoor her because Kelsey was never with him. So then Kelsey contradicted her testimony by saying, yes, we did. Me and Tory had an intimate relationship, and Megan was the one who introduced us and hooked us up together. So it's already like, so you did know, and you still proceeded to mess with him. But Y'all, it's just a mess. Because at the same time, I was thinking the whole time when Kelsey was like, when they were saying at first that Kelsey, that they was going back and forth arguing, that Kelsey was defending Megan. Now, granted, Tory and Megan didn't reveal to Kelsey yet that they was messing with each other. So Kelsey could have still been oblivious. But how do you by your accounts you see Megan get quote unquote jealous or agitated that Tori's in the pool flirting with Kylie, and not think that's weird because that's the dude I'm messing with? What you mad for? Why you don't want to leave without him? That's all I'm saying. But they was drunk. And she could have maybe thought that, but maybe not wanting to accuse her friend of things. But I just got to point out what I see on all sides because, like I said, I'm not biased. It's horrible that when she admitted to bring with Tory, everybody deemed her A-list, but the whole thing. How you stay friends with someone who keeps hooking up with your past partners. Yes, and I think maybe Kelsey could have saw it because I have met some girls who mess with the same person. That's not my style, but I feel like sometimes girls be like, okay, if I just mess with him, I ain't about to lose my best friend over that. You know, he was never my boyfriend. Oh, that makes so much sense. Okay. I said a list. Girl, I ain't even try to put context clues together. You said everybody deemed her a liar about the whole thing. Yeah. And the thing is, though, she did get caught in multiple lies. So she got caught in the thing about Tory, why she left, how many did she leave and come back? That she was the only one out of the car. It's just that everybody's testimony is contradicting each other right now. And it's not, I'm going to keep repeating this, it is not the defense job to prove that Tory is innocent. It is to cast reasonable doubt that he could have not done it. Now, part of me, I can see why people feel like Kelsey's testimony was helping Tory out, because in a lot of ways it did. But I looked at it like she mostly helped herself out. She pled the fifth on stuff that would self-incriminate her, because that's what she's supposed to use it for. She admitted that she said that Tory did it. And then she also admitted that she lied about that fact. She also said that he threatened her, but she wouldn't give the context to why. And when they asked, why she would lie about stuff, she said to protect myself. So y'all put two and two together. I'm not saying she did it. I believe, my personal belief, let's get into my personal belief, y'all. Okay? And if y'all have a theory, y'all tell me. But please, 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 if you have a theory, please support it with facts. I'm tired of talking to people who are biased either way. Just say you got your mind made up. I got my mind made up based on what I've seen. I'm supporting this person. So I don't think we ever gonna know the full truth. But here's my theory. My theory is based on the evidence that has been presented. Megan was hurt physically during their altercation. I believe it was an altercation that involves everybody. Not because remember, if y'all remember that when Megan did her interview, she said that she wasn't in the argument anymore. They were arguing. And then she said that, well, it wasn't really her and Kelsey arguing with each other. It was them going at Tory. It was them against each other, which I don't think that, I think, like I said earlier, that Megan's team is trying to protect her image from a situation. She has mostly female fans. And if it was to be revealed that she, quote unquote, backdoored her best friend, that a lot of girls be like, I'm not messing with you. Like, why would you do that? Like, that's weird. And it's not the first time that's weird. So I can see why her team was trying to do that. However, it doesn't help to lie on a situation this serious. Both parties have gunshot residue. But what y'all don't know, or what people are not bringing up, is that there were four different sets of DNAs on the gun. Okay? It was 4 people in the car. Now, I'm not the greatest at math, but it seems to me that everyone at some point or another grabbed the gun. So not being aware of where the gun came from, or that there was one in the car, or not having a struggle. I don't believe that there wasn't a struggle. I believe the shots happened during the struggle. A struggle over what? I believe it was over Kelsey and Tory. Kelsey originally said that Tory threatened to shoot her. And when they asked Kelsey, what did she say in response? Or what was the context around that? She pled the fifth. So why would she plead the fifth? Could have been her response. Like I said earlier, nigga, I'm gonna shoot you. Let me read a comment. It's just Ali said, I don't think she was shot at intentionally. It came out that they were all fighting. It was probably a riddle over the gun and went off, and that's how she got fragments and not bullet wounds, a mess. And that is exactly what I was going to say. If you struggling over a gun, or even if it's not a struggle going on when it's going off, let's say somebody's fighting and then you trying to break it up, but you can't break it up. Bitches is drunk, bitches is strong. Nigga, get out the way. And you try to shoot out the ground. First of all, dumbasses be thinking like, oh, I'm gonna shoot out the ground or shoot in the air, warning shots. Do y'all know that it's more common, or it's extremely common for bullets to ricochet off of the concrete? So if you shoot at the concrete in front of somebody, you are still extremely likely to hit them with that bullet, because it is common for bullets to ricochet off of concrete. So that would make sense, because if y'all know anything about the foot, I took anatomy, y'all, but I don't fucking know this shit. So we're going to get through this together. So I'm looking it up on my phone right now, but I'm trying to look at the live updates because there's a lot of stuff going on. But there are a lot of bones and a lot of tendons. It is impossible for a bullet, a full-size bullet, to go through your foot, through as in you still have fragments in you, and a full bullet and not hit anything. But it is extremely possible for you to have fragments in your foot from a bullet ricocheting, because it doesn't have as much impact. Because then you will have to ask yourself, if Tory really got out of the car, they established during the trial that Meg estimated that he was 8 feet away and the gun went off 5 times. If he was aiming at your feet 5 times, 8 feet away, and didn't directly hit you once, I mean, I know everybody drunk, but according to everybody, Tory had just got there. That's one of the reasons why he didn't want to leave, besides the fact that he wanted to get with Kylie. Speaking of which, I think it's funny that all of this crazy publicity is happening around Kylie, because everybody's like, oh, Chris, like, oh, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Megan and Tory and Kelsey like, hold my Hennessy, bitch. I found that funny. But besides that, this is no laughing matter. I do think that Megan was harmed. I don't personally, this is my opinion based off of the evidence presented, I don't think it was intentional. And I think that Tory and Megan and Kelsey got into more of a tussle that would incriminate them. That would explain the nail being on the floor. That would explain the chain being on the floor. And that would explain everyone lying. Every single one. The only person who's not lying, the missing bodyguard. That nigga was like, listen, this is my fucking job, bitch. If y'all put me on the stand, I'm going to tell them that all y'all was a hot mess. All y'all was fighting over that gun. All y'all wanted to hurt each other over some stupid stuff. And the gun went off. And so all of a sudden he missing and nobody looking for him. Don't y'all think this is a very high profile case? And not either side is not like, no, I will not go on without that witness here. The only non-biased witness, the only witness without gunpowder residue on them, who cannot be implicated at all. The niggas just want to take them bitches home. Okay? Let me not say the N-word before YouTube suspend my shit, because they be acting real funny. I got suspended from TikTok Live for saying nigga, but I'm a nigga. Like, what's this that mean? But anyway, it's just Ali said, I wish I was invited to the party. Sounds like it was busting. Sounds like it was a bunch of people hanging out with each other just because of their notoriety and didn't know a damn thing about each other. Now, I may be old to y'all. I don't get down like that. If I'm hanging out with a bunch of people just for the sake of it, I'd rather it be in public. I don't want y'all in my house. I don't know y'all. I don't know how y'all get drunk. I don't know how y'all get down. But then again, the Kardashians are ghetto, so I can very much see how they didn't give a shit. So that's one thing. So yeah, I just feel like with this case, everybody's gonna be on whoever's side they are on. Me personally, I still listen to Tory Lanez music. I still listen to Megan Thee Stallion music. I pray for her. What people don't really understand is that she got, physically harmed and lost her mom and got famous and all that stuff within a span of like 2 years. And she's really young. Can't expect her to make all the best choices. But it's not just her. It's Tory. It's Kelsey. It's just Ali said, right? I think the gun went off inside the car because how the window get broken too. Yes, I forgot to say that. Thank you for bringing up the window. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to stay on task. I keep forgetting stuff because I'm looking through Twitter because I already know they had lunch already. So we're gonna have a live update right now. Oh no. I know this live is just about Tory, but something else had popped up. Tory and Meg. The same journalists that when this case is over won't even report on these people. They use our crisis for their benefit. And then Black Tea Blog had put Kelsey ain't slick. Hold on, y'all. I gotta find the video of lawyers for workers because something just happened. All these subs being thrown. Talking about credible when we all sitting there. Oh my gosh. Sorry, y'all. This is live updates. Somebody is being biased in the courtroom, it seems like. Why is Kelsey back in the courtroom? I thought they told her that she was dismissed. That's weird. But until I can find the video, let's just continue. But yeah, back to the broken window. So I believe the window either could have been broken because the shots were fired from within the car, which if Tory and Kelsey was next to each other, which that would explain why Kelsey has gun residue on her as well and why the window was broken. Or that the window could have been broken during a tussle and that the tussle really got that bad and incriminating that one of them thought it would be smart to throw to fire shots to the ground to make people scared of keep fighting, and that's when the bullet ricocheted and hit Megan. And by the way, if your back is turned and you see a nigga with a gun, like let's say you being a bitch ass. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm just saying this could have happened. Let's say you beating somebody up and the gun goes off with your back turned to it. You gonna think you shot me because something just went in your foot or ricocheted in your foot. But I have to admit, what I don't like that if that is a possibility, then it comes to the question that if you thought that was a possibility, why keep going with the same narrative and putting lies on top of lies? Because all of them are lying. I don't care what anybody say. Only thing we know for sure is that Megan got hurt. That's it. During whatever was happening, Megan got hurt. And that is sad. And I don't think she should be dragged for that. But there's no reason for all y'all to be telling all these lies if y'all actually telling how it went down. Kelsey don't remember seeing, she says she didn't see Tory shoot her. Why would she say that? Could it be possibly that if she put it on him, then the defense gonna reveal some evidence that would incriminate her? Not saying they blackmailing her, but I'm just thinking, what would be the purpose? I don't know. Questions that need to be answered. Actually, it does not. I just really feel like everybody should move on. It's just Ali says, like, why they taking it this for if all of them was gonna lie. Exactly. But you know what, Alex? I don't know if anybody remember them saying this, but apparently the prosecution offered Tory Lanez a plea deal multiple times. I don't know the exact number, multiple times. They knew that there were going to be a lot of discrepancies You don't just offer a plea deal, especially to someone that has done something to a high profile person, unless you know there is a big chance that you're going to lose. What people don't understand about the law is not really about justice. It should be, and sometimes it is, but this ain't law and order, okay? These people are seeking wins, and these people are seeking to get funded. And they're not going to get funded if they're wasting the state's money taking stuff to trial that they lose. And I swear you can look that up. You can ask anybody. That's how the law works. They're not aiming for the truth. So once they decided that they were going to charge Tory with this, whatever they found out after, they just going to have to make it work. Either make this dude do a plea deal, which they tried multiple times, or just make it work. Mess, y'all. But y'all let me know y'all theories, what y'all think. I was trying to give y'all a live update before I go. I'm going to check trending one more time because these people are being very vague. I really hate the vagueness. And I haven't eaten my Chick-fil-A this whole time. I did not even think I would be talking this much to it. What the heck? How is party trending? Oh, Selena's trending. Anything for Selena? Let's see, party, since that's Meg's boyfriend. I really don't like. Oh, she looked good in this. I wish I could show y'all this. She looked good in that walk. I ain't gonna lie. I don't like how people were clowning party. Like, dang, Megan got revealed to do what? Sleeping with 3 men? Bitch, do you not listen to her music? She says she has multiple guys like all the time. What is the breaking news? She was single when it happened. Hopefully she was being safe and protected, but that's as far as it goes. The reason why it's relevant in court is motive for Kelsey and its credibility for Megan, because she specifically said that they were never romantically involved. But besides that, it's not relevant. Like, I really don't get, like, slut shaming her. Like, I don't really get how we live in a world where men believe that they are meant to have multiple sexual encounters, but women are not. Oh, it's because men can have multiple women pregnant at once and women can't. Bitch, I'll impregnate these nuts in your mouth. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, they not saying they trending for nothing, y'all. I didn't want to have to come back on Monday to give one more update, so we might just do like a small little 30-minute live reaction to the verdict and everything, and continue to give our thoughts. I pray for everyone's sanity. Everyone, and I do mean everyone, is getting attacked some way. From what I've seen, y'all, before we go, let me say this. Now, y'all just heard me. A lot of people seem like, whatever. Y'all just heard me say I think Tory deserves a fair trial. And from what a fair trial from me watching the trial every day standpoint, it looks like he's not going to get convicted. It doesn't matter what you believe. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. And there are doubts. So, yeah, that's not reasonable. However, I don't like the sympathy games being played on both sides. I don't like the fact that Megan did the Gayle King thing. And I don't like how they're trying to manipulate people into not talking about the subjects that were coming up that night, trying to say like, oh, it's slut shaming or something. Like, no, it's relevant to the case because that is what started the argument. And that is what started you and Kelsey's disdain for each other. But Tory, why did you bring your son to court? Is it just me? Is it just me? Alex, am I tripping? Because when I saw that, I was like, who told him to do that? Who told him, oh, that would be a cute moment? His son is so small. And I guess somebody has said, well, maybe it could be the only time with his son and, it's taken away from doing with court. I don't know. Me personally, as a parent, I'll try to keep my children away from stuff like that. He trended because Megan was talking about how he's embarrassed about her past relationships. I don't think that he's embarrassed about the relationships. I think he's embarrassed that it's a topic, which is a red flag to me. I'm sorry. I know a lot of Megan fans think that they are so cute together. They are not. But that is a discussion for another day. Because A, he already knew this, and B, if he didn't, what the fuck are you going to do about it, sir? Should we pull out your roster, sir? Should we pull out your roster? And I'm somebody who don't look, I've been celibate. I could talk about this all I want to. But that's a personal choice. And I will never, ever look at anybody and be like, oh, you're a bad person. You're a slut because you like to have, your experience. You're more experienced. And then be the ones who don't even know the name of everybody they slept with, got their nerve to talk about somebody sleeping with more than one person. She's been revealed to sleep with 2 people so far, because her and Ben Simmons denied it. You can't just say, oh, she did sleep with Ben Simmons because the lawyer had brought up his name. Kelsey says she only brought up one name, so that they was arguing over Tory and that other guy in the car, which could have been the baby. So if it was the baby, that's 2 people. If it was Ben Simmons, then that's 3 people. Tell me why. Let's just not even get into that. But I do pray for everybody's sanity. I pray for my own damn sanity, y'all. Shit, I gotta light up real quick. You know what I mean? So that is all for us today. I hope you guys enjoyed this live. Let me know y'all thoughts and opinions down below. Like I said, I know I said some stuff that may not be favorable to either side, but I'm just trying to look at the facts. Because everybody's all up in arms until the court verdict come back. And that's why they added on the extra charge for Tory. I believe because they're afraid that the court verdict may come back that he's not guilty. So then what can headlines do? We can't charge him for the shooting because we don't know. For intentionally shooting her, but we can charge him for the firearm. That's how it works in court. That's why it's so confusing that everybody's calling Gunna. We're going to talk about that in another live, but it's so confusing why everybody calling Gunna a snitch. If Gunna's a snitch, then why did they have to add on extra charges to Young Thug? When people add on extra charges, let me tell y'all something. If y'all ever get in legal trouble or just think something like this, when the prosecution add on charges, that's because they don't have a case, especially charges that have nothing to do with it. It'll be one thing if the charges had anything to do with racketeering or whatever Young Thug is charged with. Y'all, his charges is a speeding ticket, not wearing a seatbelt, illegally driving. Reporting live. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Sounds like you're trying to keep him in jail because you don't have enough evidence on racketeering. And how would you have enough evidence on racketeering if Gunna snitched? People use y'all fucking heads. I'm not saying he didn't, but I'm saying him getting out does not prove shit. I'm sorry, Alex. I haven't been. No, you not. And he bring him twice too. Like, boy, take that baby home. Oh, he brought him twice. See, it's like, it's stuff like that that makes me feel like I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say. At the end of the day, I know all y'all not telling the truth, and I've accepted that in 2020 shit. I went through COVID. I have other shit to do. We run a podcast that talk about hot topics. So of course we're going to talk about this. This is in the hip hop culture. And I do like discussing stuff in the law because a lot of people get to learn things about their legal rights and what goes on in a courtroom through situations like this. However, I just feel like the only people who's going to know what went on in that car is the 4 people who was there. She said that though. She said what? What I said? I'm not sure. But I will be back with y'all later. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, okay, y'all? If y'all just joining us, please watch the playback, and I would really like to hear y'all thoughts. Like I said, I'm not biased. I'm just looking for real reasons why people believe one side or the other. I'm really not biased in this situation. I gave y'all my theory, so I'll talk to y'all later, okay? Holla.